Welcome to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Jonathan Freedman, and our next guest from the Higher Authority, Phil Sharkey. Phil, always a pleasure to have you on Radio Entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Jonathan. Good morning. It's always a pleasure to be here with you and talking to you today. And I sort of cracked up some numbers for you as we were just talking off air about the end of the summer. And Jonathan, my staff, to put together some numbers and some information regarding some fraudulent numbers that businesses have had to deal with this summer.
That's fantastic. You always bring us such interesting and relevant and timely information. And I know it's been a summer of theft, and fraud. So why don't you jump right in and share with our listeners some of the statistics?
It is, Jonathan, and we got the numbers to back it up and give me your thoughts on this as well. So the first is a 2022 report from the FBI saying that restaurants are the number 8 location for violent crimes in the country. Violent crimes include homicide, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, property crime, arson, burglary, larceny, theft, and motor vehicle theft. Now, we have a lot of clients that are restaurant locations and food service locations, and that's a huge number that they're that high on the list when you think of all the different industries out there. And these are numbers that are compiled by the FBI. So
really incredible. Any insight as to whether that is patrons, employees, a combination of both?
It seems to be a combination of both, and it sort of feeds right into retail sales, which they said following that, retail sales number 4 on the 6 most dangerous occupations, and this is research done by Red Dot organization. So again, when you think of all the different organizations, and we have so many retail clients and merchandise clients in our country, and that to be that high on the list. And to add to that, they say that bartenders have the highest workplace violence rate of all retail sales occupations. Their rate is comparable to mental health professions, which is number 2 on the list. So again, these positions that you wouldn't naturally think of as being in a dangerous situation, but they really are. And it does seem to be a fair mix between patrons as well as internal violence from internal employees.
Wow. I mean, it seems to me that it's, very often as the economy goes in a direction that's not favorable, that there's a increase in violence. And I guess we're seeing as a general trend an increase in lashing out at people, unhappy people, as you said, mental health in some respects.
You sure
drive some of that.
You sure do. And what I see in my industry, I get a lot of pushbacks at times, like your big brother, you're coming down on people and such. And it's not that situation at all. What we're trying to do is protect our clients and in turn protect the general public. People that appear to be fine in a job interview are not often fine. And we just want to try with every effort to make sure that people are who they say they are. We all have rights. Employers have rights too. And these people that come on board have a different agenda at time, and they can bankrupt your company, really hurt your brand and put you under or cause great harm when they tend to go off, which they do. And it takes me to the last point we have for you, Jonathan, which is theft. And we have a number here from Compare Camp, a research firm based in Chicago. And Jonathan, they list retail as number 5 in the 5 industries with the highest cases of occupational fraud. Now, that's my industry. That's what I'm looking at for my clients who's providing fraud. And they say they're number 5, coming after banking, financial, manufacturing, government, and healthcare. And here's a big thing which speaks to our clients here on Radio Entrepreneurs. 7 out of 10 employee theft cases come from organizations with fewer than 500 employees. Across all industries, 52% of theft is office supplies, 30% of theft is time, 18% of theft is corporate intelligence, and 32% of theft is products and services. So here's where I can speak. It's not the patrons, it's the employees you hire. And just putting a handshake out there, bringing someone on board. I know it's hard now for people to find people to hire, but you still can't drop your due diligence if you want to run a successful business. Is really playing, a business to a Russian roulette type of situation.
So let's speak a little bit, since those numbers are so shocking and so dramatic, and the work that you do, Phil, identifying historical trends in people's activities is really what you're about, looking at, behind the facts that somebody might present. I guess the bottom line is, if somebody has violated either through theft or through fraud or something like that, the likelihood of a repeat offender is fairly high, I would imagine.
It is. It
And
is. I know we're in a country where many people say, second and third chances, but we really say that the line in screening is that a leopard doesn't change their spots. And we do see that. I know there's cases of people who can turn things around, but many times it is repetitive behavior. It's habit. It's just the like you said, whether it's mental problems with our society, it's just the fabric of the person that's coming on board. And again, they're not always someone you could pick out in a job interview that smells of booze or is disheveled. Many times they look just like you and I, or just like the people you pass every day. They look very professional, but they're working with a different agenda. And those are the people we try to identify. The big issue I saw in this article that was presented to us, they say that revenue loss and even ultimately filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy are real risk business owners face as they maintain operations, and employee theft is one reason a business can take a nosedive. It is estimated that 33% of corporate bankruptcies in the US are linked to employee theft. So that's the big number for me. That's why I'm here, to find these repeat offenders. And they do, it is a habit. They do find that if they can get in and there's flaws in the industry, in the corporate setup, they will take for themselves and they will justify it.
well, and you think about it in terms of the two industries that you cited, whether it's restaurants or retail, most of those locations tend to have a lot of inventory that is difficult to keep track of. Obviously cameras, systems and controls, but think about it in a restaurant. Somebody walks out with, a side of beef, so to speak.
Right.
It could be hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, alcohol, etc. So certainly the work that you do to prevent those people from coming in the door in the first place is critical, because it happens in literally an instant.
It sure is. It's opportunity. It's opportunity.
Yep.
Sometimes it's people with a whole plan and agenda, and they're just, negative people or theft type of people. Other times it just happens. People have a tough time making the bottom line today. They take offense at what you're paying them. It's not enough money. You see many of our workers across the country are angry. They're not pleased. And like you said, the opportunity comes up and they justify it in their mind, saying, you know what, they're not paying me enough here anyways. So I'm going to grab that side of beef. I'm going to grab that important office situation. I'm going to grab this office supplier, these reams of paper. They're not going to miss it. But these adds up in a tough economy, as I know from many of our businesses that we work with. The bottom line is very tight these days, and the small cost to invest in making sure you're doing all you can to make sure you have an honest employee is huge today.
Yeah, and you could sort of see, at least it's my speculation, and I don't know whether it's proved out or not, but you see, as you look at online platforms for merchandise, it's quite apparent that things are being stolen out there. Damaged packaging. Well, yeah, it's easy enough to damage the packaging of a retail package and turn around and sell it on a secondary market. And say, hey, this is excess inventory.
Absolutely. It's good. The whole thought process of even viruses and computers, people work so hard to do the illegal aspect of things. And like you said, you're not going to catch everyone, but if you put a plan in place, if you let these employees know that we're going to do a thorough background screen, a lot of the people will move on before they even come on board. When they look to sign that release authorization form, they're like, well, I'll just go down the street. They don't do anything down there. So I'll sneak right in and start right with my operations and keep I'll be a good worker for 2 or 3 months, Jonathan, and keep my eyes open. And then I will pounce when I see my opportunity. So even just setting up a plan in place helps protect you before you even get started.
Fabulous advice, Phil. As always, great to have you on. Great to hear, real life stories of what's going on in the marketplace. Scary times, but there is opportunity to defend yourself, and that is, protect the house before allowing people into it. So, if people want to reach out to you, people want to get a better idea of how to work with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
They can call the office, Jonathan. It's 508-230-5901. We always have people answering the phones, unlike going into voicemail from 9 to 5. You'll get a person, which is a huge difference. We're also on the internet at thehigherauth.com. You can also email me at my name, psharkey@higherauth.com, where we're here to help.
Wonderful, Phil. Thanks so much. Always great to have you on, and always great to talk about what's going on real time on the ground in the employment market, and steps that entrepreneurs can take and business owners can take to prevent nefarious activities in their businesses. So really appreciate it. Great to have you. Great to see you, Phil. And we'll be right back with another segment on Radio Entrepreneurs.